All right, good evening, everybody.
Good evening, guys. Welcome.
Welcome to another stream.
Sunday night. How are we all doing?
Tonight's your night, Andy. I feel like it's a special night for you. But
already.
Let's see who's.
I'm too modest to talk about it.
I'm sure you're not. Right, let's see who's in the chat. So I'm sure we've missed some people, but we've got Andy North, Alan, Dick Wellington. Evening, guys. Scala, good evening.
Evening, everyone. FPL James, David Strom. Hi, mate. Mark Dorney. Flying high, Mark Dorney as well. Very good week again from him.
Yeah.
Brad Lurendon. Good to see everyone there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I should talk about my 91, really, shouldn't I? Really, 91.
Straight off the bat.
It's been 1 minute, so for it all to come together like that in a game week where everyone scored 30, 40 points maybe, seen a few 50s, bare 60s, but 91 points. How everything fell together for a team that I took 10 seconds to set up. I'm not even joking. We were doing some tests. I was like, to do this team. I didn't have a goalkeeper playing until this week. Managed to get Neil Sullivan clean sheet points.
I mean, you had Neil Sullivan. That's how ridiculous this is. It's the first time you've had a goalkeeper playing all season, and you get team of the week.
Yeah, I was like, when I saw Casey Keller go international duty, I was like, okay, I'll probably get Sullivan this week. Yeah, it's just pretty much incredible, really. So
yeah,
people like Viduka captain, obviously. I know a few Viduka captains, but not many at all.
And you've got Eric Backer, Paul Scholes. It was just the most unbelievable come together of events that you could ever imagine.
And even Marcus Stewart came off the bench to grab a goal, and no one owns Marcus Stewart apart from me.
It's crazy. So,
yeah, it's incredible. Very happy, back on track. I think I'm 12-11 overall, so watch out, guys. Big green arrow for me this week.
Yeah.
Very happy.
So everyone that's working really hard on your teams and spending lots of time thinking about it, Andy has managed to beat all of us this week with 91. And also shout out, to be fair, to James Alaprin, who came 7th for the game week. So it was a week for the dead teams, clearly.
Unbelievable, yeah. How did you get on, Dave? How was your team?
Do you know what? I genuinely can't remember. But I think about halfway you got. I think I got about 45, which is above average.
Yeah, I think you did it right.
I got Sylvest and a couple of other players who scored, so I did okay. But not as good as
you. I got bonus points all over the place. Got Jerry Taggart bonus points, Titus Bramble bonus points.
You got Jerry Taggart and Titus Bramble. That's wrong.
Everyone's chipping in. So guys, tonight just to run down what we're doing. So, like every Sunday stream, we sim it up to the point of the next game week. So from yesterday, we've already simmed ahead 10 days. So there has been a lot of news, a lot of injuries, international roundup, some transfers as well. We've got some transfers to reveal tonight and some prices for you guys as well. Also tonight, we'll have a look at other stats, other league stats, international roundup as I mentioned, and then just a more detailed look at team by team, looking at injuries. Obviously, the big news of the highly owned player that's injured. We'll get to that as well. But yeah, Dave, do you want to crack on with reviewing the week?
Yeah, sure. So here we go. Let's have a quick look at the game week results. So we won't spend too long on it because all of the stats, data, information is all available on Whitebeard's site. So you can look at that for everything you need to know. But we'll just have a quick 5-minute run through on the stream. So this is the game week that has just passed. Aston Villa 1, Leicester 2. Lots of people looking at Leicester players at the moment.
Yeah, a bit of a shock result. But Leicester, their next 4 games, everyone's going to be jumping on them now, surely.
Yeah.
What the next 4? So West Ham at home, Derby at home, Charlton away, Southampton away.
It's a kind run, isn't it? And I think
better than that.
This, I mean, we haven't really talked about this at all, but it really feels like the pattern now is moving towards hit the fixtures, go with the teams who have got home matches as the sort of strategy, favoured strategy. That's what it's looking like, and maybe even gamble with hits and so on to try and get ahead because you can score big.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Leicester's fixtures can't be ignored. I think you need at least one Leicester player in your team, whether that be Scowcroft. A lot of people are interested in him. Sturridge. Even Dennis Wise. People are thinking now after that 10 performance.
Dennis Wise is a good budget-ish option, but looking at that game, you got Scowcroft and Sturridge getting shots away, and Robbie Savage as well, surprisingly, but he can play at the back as well. So,
yeah. How much is Savage? He's like 5.5, is he?
Maybe 5.5. I think 5.5 sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So Bolton 2, Derby 0 here. Not too many people have got these players. Henrik Pedersen. I know that Planet FPL James has got Henrik Pedersen, but not too much to report here other than that. Colin Hendry was a fairly popular pick this week, I think. He did well.
Yeah, I know Flappy was singing Colin Hendry's praises.
Yeah, and he did it for people, didn't he, there?
Yeah.
So Everton 3, Chelsea 0. This was a game which I feel like probably Chelsea edged, but they still came away defeated. So you can see all the player ratings there. We've already seen those, so we won't spend too long on that. Mario Stanic, very actively involved again. Whenever he plays in that number 10 role, he is absolutely at the centre of everything. So I wouldn't be too worried if you've got Mario Stanic. And Everton...
Also, Uriah Rennie in charge. There's a couple of cards there.
Yeah, a couple of cards and a red card, obviously, yeah. And also he only gave yellow for 2 massive red card challenges, pretty much. So he's all over the place, that guy. Fulham 1, Leeds 5. So, as you can see there, Fulham with 14 shots to Leeds' 11. It was actually a much closer game than you might have expected. Andy, just say I'm getting a little bit of feedback on your phone. I wonder whether it's worth putting your headphones in after all.
Okay, yeah, I'll put my headphones in.
So Fulham there with 14 shots, Leeds with 11, and you know you've seen the key statistics there. But obviously Robbie Keane, Mark Viduka both getting well in. Mark Viduka actually only had 3 shots in the game and scored all 3 of them. Harry Kewell got a couple of shots but returned nothing. So a bit unfortunate for Kewell owners there. Interestingly, 3 key passes for Rio Ferdinand suggest that he was getting involved as well. Fulham, Lewis Beaumorte 5 shots, Steve Marley 4 shots. I really wouldn't worry if you own Fulham players. I really wouldn't panic about selling them. They're doing very well. John Collins is getting scores as well. So plenty of good options in Fulham, I think, still.
Yeah. Do I sound better now, Dave? Is that okay?
Yep, that sounds good to me, mate. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
So Ipswich 1, West Ham 0. Again, Ipswich popular defensive shout. Herman Hreiderson was your pick last week, Andy, and he came through with a 9 out of 10 and a clean sheet.
Yeah, after being dropped midweek, I mean that was a shocker. My tip, I was like, oh, please play Saturday because after Wednesdays before no show.
Yeah. I'm
glad he delivered something.
Yeah.
My tip,
Yeah, that was funny after you tipped him and he just disappeared. I enjoyed that. So. Yeah, not much else to report there really. West Ham struggling. They did have 10 shots but only 1 on target. And I believe, I'm just going to quickly just hop off of that. Whoops. Glenn Roeder is the first manager to appear on the job information board.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So his job is slightly insecure, so we could see a change at West Ham at some point. Obviously, the more games they lose, the further he'll move up until he gets sacked. But it looks like his job is very much under threat there.
And Stan Turner as well. He's going to be sacked, isn't he?
Stan Turner, he is going to be sacked, yeah.
That's a popular one.
Nick Wright's pointing out there's the Casey Keller image just up here, just staring at people. You can't see it, Andy, because you can't see the whole of my screen, but I've got that image of Casey Keller lying on the football at the top.
Oh, okay.
I might make my backdrop for next week. Man United 3-0. Absolute domination by Man United. 19 shots to Charlton's 1.
Look at that, state of that.
And they didn't even manage it on target. Ruud van Nistelrooy got his 9. So if you look into that, you can see 2 key headers, which are probably shots, and then a further 3 shots. Skull's also getting really involved in the action, but obviously when Veron gets back, probably not a reliable pick. So Andy's zombie team will go back to bottom.
I'm hoping now Skulls keeps his place, and after that 10 performance,
you might
you'd hope that Fergie says, "Listen, Juan Sebastian, Paul's pulling the strings. Sit on the bench, please."
He might say that.
Like to see it. Yeah.
He might say that. Yeah. Andy North shouting out Dean Kiley. Yeah, I think Dean Kiley, he got 4 save points in that game, which is the most for any keeper this season. So he actually ended up with 5 points, which is very good.
Mm.
Middlesbrough, Arsenal 2-1. Arsenal slightly on top there, but they failed to get anything out of the game. Middlesbrough, not much to report there. Quite a quiet game really for them.
I mean, Southgate and Egion are so good, aren't they? They're just always 8s and 9s constantly.
Yeah.
From what I remember. Like,
I mean, the other thing obviously is Gianluca Festa on penalties. He scored 2 goals in 2 game weeks now. I feel like he is a decent pick. I think he's cheaper than the other two. I think he's 5. So he's an option.
I still don't think Festa's that nailed from previous sims I've done. I'm sure there's someone else that comes in, but he's performing. Get him on.
Oh, he's playing at left back, isn't he? So I don't know who else they've got, but maybe Dean Gordon could step back in there. But you've got to play the sim you've got, and I think 7 out of 8 games played, 2 goals scored. I think he's a decent option. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst got 5 shots away in that game, just to say, so that's an interesting one. Saints 2, Newcastle 0, a really surprising result at St Mary's. Newcastle dominated. It was a real week for me. It was like a real week of surprising results, or big players struggling, maybe more accurately, which is why we saw very low scores.
Yeah, I think you'd expect Newcastle and Chelsea to have scored at least.
Yeah.
Everton and Southampton are terrible in this game.
Yeah, definitely. Luke Disable, just say back to Middlesbrough. He's saying that Colin Cooper sometimes takes left back, but he's been sold to Bolton, so I think that Festa's looking safe.
Festa's not even a left back though, is he? He's a right centre, isn't he?
I think he can play left back. We'll have a look on club by club, but I'm pretty sure he's a DLC, I think.
I mean, he's playing left back, but
yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Newcastle in the shots there, Laurent Robert, Kieran Dyer, Alan Shearer all getting the shots, but they were missing quite a lot in that game. Shearer went for 13 headers and didn't win any. That does not feel very lifelike, but clearly Klaus Lindekbaum dominated him in the air, so a good performance for him. No one's going to buy Joe Tessam.
Never say never.
Yeah, that's true. Someone might. So Liverpool 2, Sunderland 2. What are we looking for? Pretty boring game, to be honest. Got 4 goals out of it, but only 2 other shots were on target in the whole game. So,
and I mean, Sunderland have had a couple of decent results, and their fixtures aren't too bad either. They've got Ipswich at home, Newcastle away, Everton at home. So a couple of good home games there.
Yeah.
I still like Arca. I think Gary Teal is such a good differential for 6.5.
Definitely.
He seems to be playing. I think he'll get some returns eventually.
Yeah.
Even Kevin Phillips has now got a goal and assist in the last 2.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Kevin Phillips is quite expensive, isn't he? But he can score a lot of goals. So I think Laslander's a good option at 5.5. I think Gary Teal, he was the one I was going to call out, 6.5. Brilliant. I wanted to make him more than 6.5, but I don't think anyone owns him. So obviously we didn't make him too expensive. James, obviously in the chat, evening Jamie, one person owns Tessam. Well done to them. It's probably someone with an all-Norwegian team or something like that, just trying to make their own little version of it. Right, in this game we obviously have Robbie Fowler go off injured at 91 minutes as well. He's out. So this is, again, we're at the morning of game week 9 right now. So we've had the international break, but he is out for sort of a further 2 weeks from game week 9 onwards. So he's going to miss at least 2 games, you would have thought. Maybe 3. Liverpool stats. Fowler getting involved, not much else. Danny Murphy getting involved, who was my tip last week, 2 goals in 2 games.
Well done, Dave. Nice tip.
Thank you. And then finally Spurs 2, Blackburn 0. And Gus Poyet getting a 10 out of 10 and a goal. Everson getting a 9. Rebroff did Manchester City. Obviously Selakovic was the headline there. Oh man.
So that was so big. I actually thought it was 20 minutes into the game, and when I messaged you on Saturday saying, how many minutes into this game was Selakovic penalty miss? And you were like 50, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, I couldn't wait for it. So.
I know, it was big, wasn't it? It was absolutely huge. I was a bit disappointed. It got chosen as the lunchtime game. I was disappointed that James didn't get to stream it live, but seeing the reaction rolling on Twitter was really good. So, Andy North saying Poyet party. Can't remember who it was, but someone's already coined it the Gus Bus. So
the Gus Bus, yeah, I retweeted that yesterday.
Yeah, I like that. He's getting very involved. I mean, he was absolutely 59 passes. He's way ahead of anyone else there, and he's very involved. And I think he is looking like a good shout at 6.5.
But United next, so maybe wait a game.
Yeah. Someone said there's an echo. Is one of our mics echoing? If it is, please tell us, because we do have that ongoing problem of echoey mics. I'm just going to keep chattering away as if there's no echo, but if there is, please do tell us.
Yeah. Do you want to have a look at the league stats next?
Yeah, league stats. So what,
So
team stats is that?
Yeah, team stats. Because I know there's some direct free kicks taken now, being scored.
There's Hasselbank is the only one with the direct one.
Yeah.
Championship Manager, the echo's not too bad. It's still not ideal to have one, but no echo other than saying. So we'll see how that develops as the chat comes in. But there you go. And do you want to talk us through this?
Well, indirect free kicks. That's one. Yeah, any more on team stats we can have a look at? Let's have a quick look at team stats. What are the...
I don't know if there's anything else particularly useful in team stats.
Not particularly, actually. No, have a look at player stats then, perhaps. Yeah.
So, top of the rating there is Ruud van Nistelrooy. Alan Boksic is in at second. Norberto Solano in at third. I'm just going to try and move the mic close to me, see if that helps. And Herman Hreiderson, 5th place.
Keep tracking up those bonus points.
He's doing
average rating. Yeah.
He's doing well. Obviously, we're beginning to get towards the suspension tightrope situation. I suspect John Terry is on there because he got 2 bookings to get his red card. So there's a little disclaimer on that. But Titus Bramble and Stanislav Varga, 2 names there that look like they're beginning to move towards it, but we're still a little way off. So let's see if there's anything else.
Tackles per game. That's quite an interesting one.
That
can happen towards the contribute towards the man of matches.
Yeah, exactly. Someone's asking for the home and away FPL coach home away league table. So that's actually a good idea, I think, because we can see there, compare the home and away teams. So
that is interesting. Yeah.
Leeds, Arsenal, Chelsea, Ipswich at home looking particularly strong. Leicester, interestingly, people are bigging up. Their home record right down there, 16th. Still 2 wins out of 4, but yeah, that's not fantastic.
I mean, Leeds conceding 1 at home is pretty decent.
Yeah, it is pretty decent. So maybe a defender this weekend for Leeds could be a good pick. Away record, Middlesbrough smashing it. They're smashing the league, aren't they? Tottenham look like they're, pretty reliable. But it is interesting. I really do feel like away matches seem to have a huge effect in this game. So that's certainly how it looks to be shaping up. Anyone who's really struggling away from home, Fulham 3 defeats away from home, and then Blackburn as well with their terrible formation, no goals scored. I think if you're going to have Grabby now, I think you've got to just play him in the home games and forget about him away from home.
Yeah, I mean, still at 5 million, you can play him at home and put him on the bench for away. I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
For a 5 million forward.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, I think he might be still dropping out at home. I think Janssen and Bent are still better options. So
yeah,
watch your space.
Yeah. And in chat, people saying that there is an echo at your end as well. I wonder if there's anything we could do about that. Maybe we could try the headphones out again, and if you turn my sound down, the sound down of you listening to me, maybe I won't echo at your end potentially.
Is that any better?
I mean, apparently it's not disastrous.
I'll take my headphones out.
Apparently it's not disastrous, so not a huge issue. But let's see if it helps. Right, that's the stats. Should we move on to the next section?
Yeah, the next section was internationals. So there's been a couple of internationals for teams over 10 days.
So there's just to say, with the internationals, one of the things that's significant about the internationals is to do with the fixtures, and it's slightly complex. So shall I give a really quick summary of where we're at with fixtures before we do this, or should we look at these?
Yeah, do you want to explain what we did in Game Week 22 and all that? I'll let you speak about that. Yeah,
cool. So I've got my phone here, so I'm going to refer to it because it is a little bit complex. I've seen that Ben Crellin's in the chat. Evening, Ben. So he is on Ben Krellin 2 for this game, but I know that Ben will be on it and sorting it out. And Ben, if you've got any questions, or if anyone else has got any questions, then please do ask, and we can answer them to the best of our ability. So basically, at the start of the season, we had a choice to make. So there was a game week which was on, I believe, the 10th of November, and the problem with that game week was that it clashes with an international break, but the game to begin with doesn't realise that it clashes with an international break. So we had to make a choice about what we did. So we looked at some sims and decided what to do, and we decided the most likely thing was that most of the games would move to game week 22. So what you see on your fixture sheet as game week 22, basically in the game at the moment, no games are scheduled for that week, but there will be a number of games scheduled for that week eventually. Now, these playoff games that you're seeing now on the screen are the ones that are causing the postponement. So that initial round, which you never knew existed, has now been postponed. But it's been postponed back to the week when the League Cup happens. So if this isn't clear, by the way, I'm sorry. I'm doing my best to make it clear. But
You're doing a great job.
So these games have currently been postponed to. Let me grab the Premier League up real quick. So
the 5th of December, was it?
Let's have a look. Yeah, 5th of December, which is game week 15. So game week 15 is definitely going to be a double game week, basically. What we don't know is how many games there will be, because probably most of the games will move to game week 22, which will be a blank game week, because not all the teams will play in that game week. So the reason they're moving is because the European game. So let's do the internationals quickly now, or should I keep going with this, Andy? I feel like I don't know if I'm going down a rabbit hole here, or...
I mean, I'll just say that the Wednesday the 5th of December, it clashes with a lot of things. So it clashes with Champions League second phase.
Yeah.
It clashes with UEFA Cup.
Yeah.
And it clashes with League Cup. Is it League Cup quarterfinals or League Cup fourth round?
It clashes with League Cup quarterfinals, but because of the way the fixtures sort of all condense and go crazy, it actually, some fourth round ties might be played on this night, so they might not have even got to the quarterfinals, but it is scheduled to be the quarterfinals.
Yeah. So, I mean, for example, Liverpool v Arsenal is scheduled for Wednesday, 5th of December, but Arsenal and Liverpool, at least one of them is going to progress in Europe, so that will move to game week 22.
Yeah.
That's near enough.
So I would say that Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, Ipswich are like pretty much 100%. Well, I would say now they're 100% going to 22. There's no way that those games are getting played that week, because Arsenal will progress, Ipswich will progress almost certainly. Like the game week 2, the round 2 fixtures for the UEFA Cup with English teams are all, you would think they would definitely win them. So, apart from Chelsea, who have got Porto, so that's a bit of a question mark. But but obviously they still could make the League Cup, or their opponent could make the League Cup, and if that happens, they'll move to 22. So that's the briefest, clearest summary. Thanks for jumping in there, Andy. That was very, very helpful, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking, I mean, we've run sims and stuff. Normally you get 2 or 3 matches, perhaps, have a double game week in 15.
Yeah.
And then the other 7 will be a blank game week for game week 22, which we've put in the sheets already.
Yeah.
So there's normally more fixtures in game week 22 than there is double in game week 15.
Yeah. So what we'll do in your sheets, on your fixture sheet, we'll only update double game week 15 after the 3rd round of the League Cup, basically. So once we know who's through the League Cup, we'll start updating it. Teams still could move potentially, things could change because the game just does that. But we won't update the fixture sheet until nearer the time. But I've written down here that I suspect that Blackburn versus Leicester and Bolton versus Middlesbrough are the 2 games most likely to be double game weeks, because the reason for that is that Leicester and Middlesbrough are both knocked out. Blackburn and Bolton are knocked out of the competition already, of the League Cup, and they're playing teams who are a little bit weaker. So I think that those games are the most likely to happen, but we will see. So that's something to think about there in terms of free hit, wild cards if you still got them. So just to go back to the Saturday games, so Blackburn could have Southampton away, Leicester at home, which is very good. Leicester could have Sunderland at home, Blackburn away, which is also very attractive. What were the other 2 teams? Bolton, Middlesbrough. So Bolton could have Middlesbrough at home, Chelsea away, that's so. And Middlesbrough, Ipswich at home, Bolton away. Again, I would say that's pretty appealing. One thing just to know, I see Heskebo's talking in the chat there that free hit 16 is the strategy because 16 is also currently due to be a double game week, and I think that's more or less confirmed. Although honestly, who knows with the way the fixtures schedule is.
Is that in the fixtures? That's in the fixtures already, isn't it? Has that been scheduled in the fixtures?
So here we go. Wednesday the 12th of December. I don't expect this to happen, but if the League Cup really does go crazy, potentially could that move? I'm not sure. Because the League Cup fixtures can get really concertinaed with various postponements. But I would think that is pretty much as confirmed as a double game week gets in this game, but giving myself the get out. Because the other thing just to point out, which is interesting for free hit 15, is that these are a lot of weaker teams that will be double game weeking because they're the non-European teams. They're the teams who are getting knocked out of the League Cup. So weaker teams, weaker players who you won't necessarily want, but actually you might want to stock your team up for this game week, because then further down the line in the blank game week, that will be the stronger teams. That will be the European teams and teams progressing in the League Cup who you're probably going to want your team full of. So that is something to think about. I think if it were me, I'd be thinking towards this game week, the double game week 15, as my free hit personally. But there's many different strategies and there's much conversation to be had, and this is just a little update. Do go to Ben Krellin too. He's saying the earliest that a double game week 15 fixture could be confirmed is in game week 12. But I'm sure that Ben will get his head around this better than we can. And Ben, if there's anything you need to know about schedules or questions or anything like that, do give us a shout and we will do our best to help you.
That's cool. Well done, Dave. It is confusing, but I think you did a good job. Well done.
Thanks. Right, let's have a look at the World Cup qualifying games. So we had a round of World Cup qualifying games. So you can see that's the outcome and the results, but let's just have a little look at what happened. So
come on, England. Ukraine should get through that. Ukraine.
So we'll mainly focus on the home nations teams in Ireland because that's where most of the players are. So we'll start with Ireland. 4-1 win against Cyprus. However, there is a significant piece of news in there.
Can anyone spot that injury?
Can anyone in the chat see the injury? It's,
we'll wait for that.
While people in the chat are noticing who's injured, you can see that Robbie Keane scored, Niall Quinn getting a game, Alan Mabry, an absolute goal machine on this game. He's having a great season, and he's in our player aware team. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure the chat's a little bit behind, so I'm sure people are already saying it. But 88th minute, just before the end there, Ian Hart. So I won't leave you dangling for too long. So he is actually, there you go. It's all dropping into the chat.
Who was first? I mean, Adam France in FFS.
I think that counts.
Via Ritchie, but Mark Dorney, Hart, clean sheet wipeout, heartbreaker. Oh.
But the upside is, as you can see, he's actually already recovered from his injury. So his injury was a bruised thigh, and he was out for 4 days. But he's recovered from the injury, but he's on 76%. So I'm just going to check when Leeds play. So Leeds play, Saturday. So he is very, very highly unlikely to play, and if he is going to play, it will be for minutes, like a few minutes. So I can see people
saying down that surely
people are going to say he was going to be their captain. I mean, I think Leeds looked great for a clean sheet this week. So he is injured, but it will just be for this game week. So that gives people a real dilemma as to choose to keep or sell. I don't know if you've noticed, Andy, but I've seen a lot of people thinking about it anyway before this injury.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would think of getting off Hart, but not this game week with such a good fixture against Everton at home. I think everyone's thinking, I'll keep him in this week.
Yeah.
But now what do you do? I mean,
I think if you were considering selling him, this is like the push you need to sell him because he's going to miss this fantastic fixture. Who have they got? They've got
Everton at home,
Everton at home, but then they've got Arsenal away. So you've got two tricky fixtures. Then Chelsea at home, Newcastle away. It's not a great run of games. So we could see a mass exodus because he's one of the most owned players in the whole thing. So I would expect to see that. Left back for Leeds, who will play there? Dominic Matteo looks like the only real option they've got there. So
it'd probably be Matteo. I can't see anyone else. So, unless they'd go Mills left back, but I doubt that would happen.
No, I think it would be Matteo. He's been playing a bit anyway, hasn't he? So there we go, Ireland. But this result for Ireland means that they qualify for the playoffs. So they will have a playoff tie coming up. Right.
Did they have was there two international fixtures or
There
just
was just one. There was just one.
Just the one. Okay.
Yeah. Holland, just to say, 6-0. Ruud van Nistelrooy on the bench.
Fit and healthy, ready to go.
Yep. Northern Ireland will briefly touch on. They're a bit irrelevant. There's not many real players there. They won 3-0. I can hardly see any Prem players in there, actually, to be fair. So,
David Healy, Leeds legend.
Jim Magilton played. There you go for your fantasy teams.
Magilton
in. Jamie saying that 27 people had already set their teams up to captain Hart, and I suspect that would have been a lot higher had he been fit. Wales 2-2. They're already not able to qualify, but Bellamy getting a goal, Simon Davis getting a goal as well. We will do other injury news later, guys, just to say.
Simon Davis came on as well for Tottenham, didn't he? So
yeah, he's a good player on this. Scotland needed to win this to have a chance of qualifying. They need a win here, and then he did Belgium and Croatia to draw or low-scoring draw or defeat for one team. They did win. Scott Booth, 32 minutes. So because Scotland won and Croatia and Belgium had a low-scoring draw, Scotland also get into the playoffs for the Euros. And finally, England against Greece at Old Trafford. Reminiscent here. England scrape a draw, and they
Beckham last minute.
Sadly not. But in this version, they actually lost to Germany, so they've scraped a draw to reach the playoffs. And actually, they were the eighth. The playoffs of the 9 groups, the 8 best runners-up qualify. England were the 8th best runners-up to qualify for the playoffs, so they nearly didn't even qualify with the draw. Injury.
Congratulations, congratulations in England. Well done.
Yeah, exactly. Emu Heskey injured also 3 weeks with a calf strain, so he was subbed in that game. He is out for 3 weeks. And Michael Bridges was his replacement there. Amazing. Was that his debut? Michael Bridges on for his England debut, despite not having played all season. Right. So, I think that's the major injury news, isn't it, really? And the major international news. And we end up then with this in the playoffs. So it's sort of irrelevant, but basically you can see on the 10th of November and the 14th of November. So initially the 10th of November is scheduled to be a Premier League match day, which is now gone, which is now basically week 22 or double game week 15, and they also play on Wednesday the 14th, which I believe, if I quickly look, so Wednesday the 14th was initially scheduled to be the 4th round of the League Cup, which will also now be postponed, obviously. So this is why the League Cup fixtures get concertinaed, because the game for some reason is scheduled in fixtures that clash, so that's why we've got fixture chaos. We'll keep you in the loop about that though, but I don't think there's going to be any more updates until the next round of League Cup matches, which is on the 31st of October.
I know it's probably irrelevant, but with the League Cup 4th round, if there's like 2 Division 1, Division 2 teams playing, will that go ahead?
Yeah,
because
it would do, I'm sure. Yeah,
okay.
If it's like Exeter against Hull, then it's going to be happening. Right, so that's international roundup done. That is fixtures done. What's next on the agenda, Andy? Because I actually haven't got it up in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing is to do team by team. Guys, any questions you have, anyone you want to see in particular, we can go through detailed stuff. I mean, after international break, it's crucial to look at condition. So I think the best thing is to sort by condition.
Yeah.
And look at that.
So it seems like morale is basically irrelevant. So I think we'll just leave morale, right? And we're just focusing on condition.
Yeah. Are we gonna? We'll do team by team because there's been transfers as well, so we can go through the transfers as we go as well.
And just to shout out the game, so all the games, obviously, these are for this coming Wednesday night, but we've got Blackburn v Newcastle and Sunderland v Ipswich happening on the Sunday in-game. And on Monday night is Derby against Chelsea. So those players will have a bit longer to recover. There's obviously also the outside chance that someone gets an injury. So we'll go through club by club. We'll cover any injuries as they come up. Arsenal here. So you can see that Martin Keown is suspended. Not much else to report there. We'll do sort by condition quickly. So actually,
there is transfer news though.
There is transfer news, Andy. Thank you. Transfer news is star man here, Dimitrio Albertini. So he is coming into the game at 6.5 million. So he has been transferred in for 12.5 million in the game, but he's coming in for 6.5 million. So he will be.
Seems a very cheap price, doesn't it?
Seems like a bargain, or not. I mean, we said this about Salakovic, 8 million. We're like, good price, and then look what's happened with him. But some people said Albertini could take pens as well. But 6.5 million, he's Vieira's replacement. He should be fairly nailed, you would have thought.
Can we have a look at Seaman from Auto Recruits?
There you go. There's Seaman. He looks happy.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. So I think actually condition-wise, I'm not expecting to see any problems because the internationals all took place a week ago, so they've had time to.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was. I thought it might be Wednesday as well, but no.
Yeah. So Enkelman is back, semi-fit, fairly irrelevant, but Myhill will probably play again. Bosco Balaban is back at 90%, so he could come in up front again.
Schmeichel's back there, isn't he, from suspension?
Schmeichel is. Oh yeah, of course he is. Yeah. So ignore everything I just said. Schmeichel's back from suspension. Right. Blackburn.
You'd expect Schmeichel to go back in goal. Enkelman injured. Yeah. There's no issue there really.
Absolutely, yeah. So Henning Berg injured in the last game. He is still out, but he's at 55%, so he's going to be missing for the next game. Someone's asking about. Oh, Ian Taylor, presumably someone's asking about. Just go back to Villa. There's Ian Taylor. He's doing all right this season. A goal and assist in 5 games. Not very nailed, but I quite like him. He's always very involved when I'm reading the commentary. We'll go back to Blackburn. So Blackburn again, yeah, you can see there's an injury there for Henning Berg. And Craig Short is also on 58%, so there could be some differential centre backs, but I can't really see anyone jumping on there.
Just looking at chat as well. Maybe go back to Villa because Ryan Foley is making something in the chat as well.
Great spot, Ryan Foley. Flipping out, I'm missing everything tonight. Stephen Kerr has made the move to Villa, so he is joined for 4.4 million. And if he can keep up his record of 1 goal in every 2 substitute appearances, he'll probably end the season with at least 15 goals. So,
would you expect Stephen Kerr to come into the team?
Yeah,
instead of Delaney.
I definitely wouldn't be picking Delaney right now if with Stephen Kerr sniffing about, because you don't spend 4.4 million to put him on the bench if you're Villa. I would suggest. Bearing in mind this is 20 odd years ago as well. That's quite a big signing for them, and he's a good player. So I think Stephen Carr's 5 million, so he is probably a wait and see, but he can get goals and assists going forward. So if Villa ever have a good run of fixtures and you want an attacking defender that's not Steve Staunton, then he could be the man. Thanks for pointing that out, Ryan Foley. Appreciate that. Right, Blackburn. Sorry.
Just go back to Blackburn again. Yeah, sorry. I think there's a few that aren't 100% fit. I noticed.
Let's have a quick look.
I don't know if they were just reserve teams anyway, or maybe it wasn't Blackburn then.
Friedel's at 91%. Kelly saved a penalty in the last game, so maybe he doesn't come back in. But I would have guessed he only got 6, so I would have guessed that he would come back in. Actually, that was one thing I was just going to take a really quick look at, was America fixtures, because they had a random one. So they've got a game on the 18th of November, which I believe clashes with a game week. So that's something to flag up for American player owners, Keller and Friedel owners specifically. So they've got a game on the 18th of November. And I'm also just going to quickly look up Australia, because they have random ones too. So 27th of October, Australia has got a game, and the 1st of December. So Viduka, people thinking about signing Viduka, you might just want to be aware of that. Those are game weeks that are in the game. So just in the last game, they didn't call up Kewell or Viduka. I don't know why, but they didn't call them up. So just flagging that up though here for things for people to consider. If anyone wants to put a tweet out that we can retweet with those dates, that would be fantastic. Australia, 27th of October and 1st of December. And Ben Cronin saying November the 18th, which is Brad Friedel, USA, is November the 18th, game week 13. So, yeah, those are just possibilities. Ben, if you've taken that information on board there, that would be fantastic. So, yeah, he's putting it all out there. Oh, Ben, you're amazing. 27th of October, Australia, game week 11. And I suspect 1st of December is coming very shortly as well. 1st of December, game week 15. So we've got Americans missing in game week 13. We've got Australians potentially missing in 11 and 15 if they get called up.
Is there any other internationals as well, like any African stuff
So
like that? Maybe just look at South Africa, maybe like Rhodesi or someone.
I did look it up when I initially did it, and off the top of my head, I don't think there are. 20th of October. I think that's the 20th of October. No, that's next weekend, isn't it? So yeah, South Africa have got a game next weekend, but no Rhodesi. He hasn't. I don't think he's missed the games when Fish and others have gone. Rhodesi hasn't gone, just like Viduka and Kuehl haven't gone. So I don't know whether the game's got something programmed in that big players don't get called up for these games. I know that Mark Fish has gone. Nigeria, the other team, they've got a few players. So 20th of October. So basically, African teams playing on the 20th of October as well. I'll have a quick look at Peru because Solano. There's actually not very many South Americans around and about. So 7th of November and 14th, that falls in line with the playoffs, I believe. Is that right? 7th and 14th?
Just have to check that again. I think it sounds about right.
So 7th and 14th of November, Peru play. Let's have a little look. 17th and 14th of November. So he looks like he's going to be all right. They play on the 4th, so you think 7th, and yeah, so they're all right. The South Americans are all right. Lucas saying, is Rhodesi retired for international football? He is. So Rhodesi is safe.
Great.
Good shout.
But Sean Bartlett
could be called up. He's injured though at the moment.
Sure. Okay. Fine.
Right. We'll move on.
Any just while you're there, just out of interest as well. There's not Asia qualifiers or anything like that.
I don't know if there's any Asian players, to be honest. I can't think of any.
No, maybe not. Nishikori at Bolton.
I don't think anyone's got him. If you own Nishikawa, then let us know in the chat. We'll look at it. Craig Hignett's unsettled, trying to force his way into the team. Obviously, he's not being told he's a first-team footballer as well. That's my guess. That's an assumption right there. Goodney Bergson out for 3 weeks. No one's got him probably.
Oh, it's fine. Nishikori's on loan. Oh, it's fine. You can relax, guys.
So there's not much to report at Bolton, really. Oh, Inamoto. Good shout, Andy North. Well put. Yeah, good memory. Let's have a quick. I mean, there might be a few Inamoto owners, so go on then. We'll
just to make sure, yeah. Just to make sure.
So Japan, no, they've played their game.
Fine.
No more games for them. Per Franson's not from Japan. You actually think about buying Per Franson, don't buy Per Franson. I'll just save you the time they're auto reclosed. Don't get him. Look at him. He gets subbed all the time playing terrible. Charlton. Pinar's not in the Premier League at the moment, just say in the chat there.
There is an injury there.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Big injury. Mark Kinsella came off against Man United. He's out for 2 weeks. When I say big injury, I mean as in he's owned. So he is out for a couple of weeks, so we'll miss a couple of game weeks, you'd have thought. Sean Bartlett there, mentioned before, previous injury. He's still got another 2 weeks to go as well. I don't think there's much to look at Charlton, to be honest. The only players, obviously, Jason Newell got red carded at the weekend. He just has a 1-match ban. So that starts on the 17th of October. So let's see.
So that was the midweek game, so obviously it just kicks in next weekend.
Yeah, so he'll miss the Southampton away game, but he's only got a 1-match ban.
And effectively, guys, red cards, whatever date they get sent off, it's 2 weeks from that date is when the ban starts.
Yeah. Chelsea. Marcel Desailly. He is out for 3 weeks, so he is a sell. Very likely if you own Marcel Desailly, a pretty much definite sell there. Out for 3 weeks. Petit is already injured. He's only at 55%, so he won't play. Good Johnson is coming back into contention at 90%, and I think that Ida Good Johnson, 4 goals in 4 games, is a potentially really nice differential pick. So,
and also they play Monday night as well, Chelsea, don't they?
That is true. They do play Monday night. So good point, mate. So Petit could get a bit fitter, but probably not fit enough. Good Johnson, he could feature.
I guess it'd be one day away from full fitness on Monday night. Good Johnson probably.
Yeah, probably 1 day away. Although I don't think they've got a 2 day setting. So if he's at 2 days right now, he could potentially be fit. But he could play. Babiaro's still. He's got a few days to go, but he's only at 57%. Zola is looking fine. He's okay. Morale, and he's ready to go. Don't think there's anything else to report at Chelsea. Oh, actually there is. They sold someone.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
Ed De Hoy, not massive, but obviously he can sometimes move within the Premier League and become an option. That's not going to happen because he's joined Liverpool's Champions League opponents Feyenoord, and he's gone. So Bosnich now nailed on as reserve if Kudicini gets injured.
And it also means my reserve keeper, Rhys Evans, moves up a spot as well.
Yeah, you now have the third choice Chelsea keeper. Well played. So you've got the backup Spurs and the third choice Chelsea. Nice.
So I'm expecting now probably a Kudicini injury, Bosnich comes in, gets sent off, and Rhys Evans saves the penalty, right?
Yeah, well, now you're like, mate, that's going to happen.
Wait for that.
Seth Johnson, he's at 90%. Coming back in, decent player. Mark Poom's suspension begins and he is on a 3-match ban now. See Whitebeard dropping into the chat saying good morning. Good morning, Whitebeard, or good evening. And nice to see you.
Whitebeard.
Thanks for all the wonderful work you're doing on the game. Massively appreciate it. It's absolutely amazing. If you haven't already been on Whitebeard's site, which you will have done because you're in the stream, go check it out. And also a shout out as well to Lordy Leroy, at Lordy Leroy, who's been helping us with the data collecting. Really appreciate that too. So keep forgetting to shout you out, but thank you to him.
Techie FPL just saying Mark Poom suspended. Yeah, that will be added to the sheet. All these suspensions and injuries get added to the sheet on Monday after the stream.
I think I'll actually do it tonight probably. So your sheets will be up to date probably within 20 minutes, half an hour of the stream, unless I get distracted. So 3-match ban for Mark Poom. Nothing else to really report there. Just a shout out for Valakari, who's doing great as well. He's got 2 goals in 8 games, very high average rating, and he also scored 2 in the League Cup, so he's got 4 in 9. See, FPL chance of De Hoy acceleration of 1 made me lol. I remember Ed De Hoy, he was a really good goalkeeper in real life, or decent, but he just looks like so grumpy all the time. It just, I don't know, looks like a seal or something.
I get that, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but good goalkeeper. Paul Gerrard is at 90%, so he could come back in goalkeeper, though Simonson's been playing well. Pembridge is out for 3 weeks following his twisted ankle. Naismith will come in for him, I'm sure. And they've also sold someone. Random transfer of the season award goes to Thomas Myra, joining Ayr of the Scottish First Division. So he's had a weird season because he just played in the Premier League and he's been sold to Ayr. Poom is out for 3 league games, that is correct. I don't know if Auto Reclose is taking the mic. He's asked for Per Franz and now he's asking for Duncan Ferguson.
It's worth a look.
Let's have a little look. These are differentials, major differentials. No one wants Everton players. There's Duncan Ferguson. Fulham. So Malbronk was already injured, I think, but he's got 2 more weeks to go still. Andy Melville's going back in, no one owns him. Sylvan Legwinski is a 3-match ban there. So that's just about to start. I don't think there's anything else to report. Fulham, happy to move on from there, mate?
Yeah, that's all good. All good.
Obviously, just to say, Lewis Beaumorte is one that obviously people are beginning to get a bit twitchy and nervous on, but he's still having a great season, and he's still been playing up front.
Lewis Beaumorte did really well against Leeds in the last game. He's just unlucky not to score, I think.
Yeah.
He got plenty of shots, and it's definitely worth a hold.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Jack Brokenshire defending Everton there. To be fair, David Weir has done okay for me. So yeah, I mean, Steve Watson's done okay as well. And actually, Everton, I always take the mick out of them, but they're actually 9th. So they're top half. Their defence is the place to go if you want Everton players. 8 goals conceded in 8. But don't get strikers or attackers.
Yeah, I mean, David Weir's not a bad shout. I mean, they do keep clean sheets.
Yeah.
David Weir's decent on this. Yeah.
Gary Naismith got a man of the match in the last game as well, so he's obviously racking up the average ratings. Fulham we've done. Ipswich getting popular. Obviously Maurizio Tarico still got 2 weeks to go on his injury. What have they got? So he'll be only 13 days off when they play Sunderland tomorrow. Thomas Gardso is another player who's returning from injury. He's at 83%, so you'd be surprised to see him feature. And yeah, I mean, other than that, Sereni can't settle in England still, but he's doing fine. Finidi still doing all right as well. He got an assist at the weekend. He's looked bright. Jason Kumas coming into the team too. But yeah, Ipswich.
Mm-hmm. Super Leeds,
Lebo at 58%. Ian Hart 76%. That's just the big headline, really, isn't it, of the whole thing?
Massive headline. He's not going to play at 76%. I'm pretty sure of it. I don't think he'll even come on, personally.
I agree. I don't think he'll feature. So other than that, nothing to report at Leeds, I don't think. Everything looking fine and dandy there. Leicester City.
Star man.
Yeah. Robbie Savage, so he actually, I missed this, but he obviously got injured in that game for Wales. He was out for 2 weeks, so we did mention Savage as a very much in passing, but that suggests that Dennis Wise is now totally nailed, and also Muzzy Izzet, who missed the last game, I would suggest he is pretty much nailed as well. Muzzy Izzet's expensive, but he can get points. He is a bit too expensive, I'd say, but he is expensive for a reason. So
yeah, I mean, people were saying why is he missing out?
I don't think there's any reason. I think he's just not been picked. He's missed 2 games this season. He's 2 goals in 6 games.
And Scowcroft, people are really interested in Scowcroft as well. I know he's 8 million, but he's playing in that number 10 position.
Yeah, I think James Scowcroft's a great shout. 3 goals and 1 assist in 8 games is totally fine. I think that's decent. And now with good fixtures coming up, you could get lots. Joby McAnuff is being talked about.
I like Joby McAnuff. Yeah, he's decent.
He's listed as a midfielder. He could play up front, but he's basically been playing on the right wing. So 1 goal in 6 games and 1 man of the match. For some reason, I don't fancy McAnuff. I just feel like, even though he's pretty cheap, which is appealing, I think I'd rather go for Dennis Wise. Or if you're going for cheap, where is he? This man, Dean Sturridge. I do believe that I do think he's Daniel Sturridge's uncle. I don't know if I'm
correct.
He is.
Okay. No, he is. Yeah.
So Dean Sturridge is 5.5, I think, and 3 goals and 1 assist for 5.5 is a bargain.
Would you go, if you own Grabby? Would you go Grabby to Sturridge at this point?
No.
For that extra 0.5, you wouldn't. I would. I think I definitely would. I think Leicester's fixtures are good enough. Sturridge is pretty much nailed. He's playing every game.
You make a good case.
Grabby.
I mean, if I didn't own either, I would probably go for Sturridge. But lots of people are jumping off Grabby, which can make him a good differential in itself. And just to quickly go back to Blackburn, I know he's been benched, but those are for those stupid away games. When he's played, 6 goals in 6 games is amazing, and his form is great. I think the player in that sort of form, I personally wouldn't.
I still think he's going to get dropped and come off pretty soon. I think Sturridge is the way to go. I wouldn't go to Sturridge if I owned someone higher in price. I think you can stay around that area. Like if your third striker was Pedersen, I wouldn't go that low to Sturridge. Yeah. But any Grabby owners, for me, Sturridge is the way to go. Definitely.
They got tasty fixtures. This next one, especially West Ham at home, is nice. But all of those next 4 are very nice. I think Sturridge is a great pick, and I think I would definitely say go for Sturridge. But if you don't own Grabby, but if you own Grabby, I think he's becoming a differential, and I would only play him in home games.
Okay. And what about another move as well, Lewis Beaumorte to Scowcroft? Would you do that move?
No, I love Lewis Beaumorte. So he's my vice captain, my dead team. He would be. I think Lewis Beaumorte is a season keeper. That might come back to haunt me, but I think he would be one of the first names on my team sheet.
Okay, so if you own Selekovic, would you go to Scowcroft?
What's Fulham's pick? So Scowcroft, I think, is a good pick. If you don't own Lewis Beaumorte, I would buy Lewis Beaumorte.
Okay.
Unless Fulham have got a really tricky run. I don't know if they have. Yeah, so Heskebo shouting out Lasland. I think he's another really good 5.5. I think he's cheap. Is Sturridge a captain option? Potentially. I mean, Leicester are. This is another guy who I think is really, I haven't seen talked about much, but I think Delaney's a great pick. Great average rating.
He's 5, isn't he?
Yeah, 5 million. Can play in midfield. I like him. Taggart at 4 million. Leicester have got a lot of good options for this fixture run. I think it'd be interesting to see. I'd be attacking them for sure.
I would say if you haven't got any Leicester players at the moment, you can get maybe one Leicester player this week, one Leicester player next week.
Yeah.
Fine. Do it.
Interesting. James saying Salakovic to Scowcroft is the most popular transfer this week. So that is very interesting.
Mm.
I was going to say, just something, we won't talk about it now, but something to talk about at the end of stream, Andy. I'd love to talk about differentials in general. And because in FPL when I play, I love differentials. And I feel like this is an interesting turning point. So, injury news at Liverpool.
Huge.
So,
look
at that.
Decimated.
They are absolutely decimated. So, Yari Littmanin's out for 3 months with a torn hamstring. He's had a really good start to the season as well. 2 starts, 4 sub appearances, 4 goals. Absolutely horrendous. Rob Pick just dropping in the chat. Evening, Rob. We'll catch up soon. Let's see if the scout gets any team sheets leaked this week.
You might. Yeah, maybe.
So just to say, obviously, Heskey, Fowler, Owen, Littmanen all out. So really the 2 soonest to return are Fowler in 2 weeks and Heskey in 3 weeks. They also have Diomed, who could play up front. He's out for 3 months. Vladimir Smica, who can play up front, is also out for 3 months. So Liverpool are really all over the shop. Stefan Ancho, he's injured. He's only at 21%, so he won't be playing for a little bit. Patrick Berger's getting closer to a return in a few days. They're going to need him. It's horrendous for Liverpool.
Can you sort by forwards on that?
Just see forwards.
Yeah.
So that's who we've got. So interestingly, John Miles was on the bench in the last game. Look how bad he is.
Horrendous. All the reserve Liverpool strikers. Gnadsen is terrible.
Yeah, he is awful. I've signed him for Cambridge or whatever in Division 3 because he scored goals. Sjoland, he could play. So I see actually in the chat Luke is saying Murphy and Sjoland. So I really trust Luke more than I trust me. So Danny Murphy, who I'd already tipped as a good midfielder, if he's playing up front, all the more.
I think Sjoland's a quite a good pick. I think he's the best out of the ones that are fit.
He's not actually in the game at the moment, Sjoland. So what we'll be doing is adding players when they start a league game. So I think we'll stick with that probably. And once players start, we'll add them in. But we'll add them in cheap. So we're sorting by position here. James Planet FPL asked for this. So this is Liverpool by position. Another Heskebo is saying maybe Barmby up front. That's a good shout. He could also play. I mean, they could play Barmby and Murphy up front, but that's Luke saying Murphy, Sjoland. Luke saying Murphy, Sjoland, Goodnison are the options. Never Barmby. So Barmby I thought was a good shout, but I don't think they'll change formation because the game just doesn't seem to think that way.
Yeah.
So
and also Luke, you don't think John Miles will come on?
Yeah, I've never seen John Miles get involved, but then you never get this many injuries, do you? It's pretty crazy. I mean, they could bring someone in as another thing. They could sign someone. Someone was asked about Vegard Hegem. I really like Vegard Hegem in this game, and that's one of the reasons why I put such a high price on him. But he's been coming off before 60 way too much to be picked. But they are decimated, and they just to say the upcoming games, they've got Middlesbrough, so it's a great time. If you're a Middlesbrough defender owner, happy days. In fact, I know it's Liverpool, so it's a bit counterintuitive, but Hart's injured. What about Festa? Or Southgate or Ekiog even? Or Dean Gordon?
Festa captain?
No, no, I wouldn't go that far. But I would actually go with Dean Gordon personally. But I think that would be a great potential move to bring in a Middlesbrough player. Not many seem to own Middlesbrough defenders, so...
Someone saying about Risa, Ali Jafar saying...
Yeah, he was injured, wasn't he? He's 100% now, he's ready to go. So Risa is back. Right, should we move on from Liverpool?
Yeah.
Right, Man United. Ronnie Johnson there is still got 10 days to go.
I think the big thing is Veron, really. How far is he from getting back?
He's back, he's 100%, he's ready to go.
Right. Okay. That'll be interesting then. Will he start? How well will he perform?
I would expect him to start, because even though he's had a terrible season so far, he is just quality. He's so good. I can't believe how badly he's done. But yeah, I think everyone else is looking good. Condition-wise, everyone's fine at Man United, so they're ready to go pretty much more or
Just scroll up. Yeah, that's fine, isn't it? Yeah.
More or less a fully fit squad there. Oh, and Brian, you're saying Hart to Gordon is a no-brainer. That is strong, but I think it's a good move. So let's look at Borough quickly. Here we are. So just to say there's Fester at the DL. We discussed, is he a left-back? He is a left-back. Dean Gordon looks like the only other realistic option. Curtis Fleming has played the odd game, but he's played one game, but he's not very good. Don't know what game week Ronnie answers back, but suspect this the one after next or the one after that. Jonathan Greening picked up an injury. He's still got a week to go, but he is at 90%. He could play. He's an important player for them. Alan Boksic obviously is an important player. He's not going to play this weekend. He is at 30%. So if you don't know the game very well, the condition of the players improves. Usually they get to 90% in light training while they're still injured, and then they return straight away. Some players recover slower and they need a bit longer. Boksic looks like he should be okay in a week. I would have thought at 30%, but he might well not get to 100%.
That's so interesting about Festa. I just had a quick look on my laptop because because I've got the original disc still and I play. I've just got a laptop dedicated to ChampMan 102, and that's the only one I've seen. But Festa on my game is right centre and left centre on your version.
Yeah, I mean it could be which patch are you on? Are you on?
Yeah, I'm on the same patch as you.
That's bizarre. Maybe it's just a bit random.
Yeah.
Yeah, James shouting out to look up for condition. Everything's good there with condition for Borough. It's just those two players that are injured. So I'll move on. It says look up Andy, you see the reason. I don't read what I just said, Andy. Oh.
Look up Andy.
No, this is Disable saying in the chat. Not literally look up at the sky. In the chat. It says it basically randomises it because he's a strong player.
Oh, okay, fine.
Luke's actually shouting there, read what I just said, Andy. Read.
I was worried there's something on my roof or like above me.
So yeah, a nice run of fixtures for Borough, just to say as well. Or nice-ish run of fixtures. I'm biased, I'm just trying to prove my point. Newcastle. So Robbie Elliott suspended. Wayne Quinn will come in for him. Gavilan, who often comes on for Solano, is struggling, so Solano may get the full 90, I would suggest. And there's nothing else to report there. Everyone else is fit, ready to go. Solano's unhappy because he wants to be paid what he deserves.
True. What's his contract? How much is he on?
13 grand a week. That's nothing. I couldn't live off that.
Give him 25. It's not big. It's a fan's favourite.
He does sometimes move in the game. I mean, he is underpriced, I will give you that, I think. But that's because sometimes he's out of favour, he gets moved. Maybe this will be him. I'm not trying to fearmonger, but maybe this will be the start of his demise. Who knows? I doubt it. Nikos Dabazas also unhappy. He wants a new contract. Lots of unhappiness at Newcastle. I did notice, actually, I can't remember who it was, but one of the players said that they're convinced that Bobby Robson is the right man to turn the club around, and that they're obviously struggling, Newcastle, surprisingly so. Right, Southampton. We have a signing at Southampton. Gavin Ray has come
Big
in
name.
for 2.7 million from Dundee. It's not a very sexy sign, but he can be a good player. So he's in at 6 million midfielder. He'll be pretty much nailed to play every game. So again, you're not going to jump on him, but I think he's a good option. I think 6 was what we went for. We'll confirm that. But
Wayne Bridge, how long has Wayne Bridge got? Because he's probably one of the only picks you go for, Southampton.
One day, 90%. But he has missed a couple of games. Petrescu's doing well, 7 games, a very high average rating, get an attacking return as well. So if you ever want to jump on Southampton, their fixtures are okay. Bolton away, Charlton at home, then a bad one, and then Leicester at home, Derby at home, Ipswich away, Blackburn at home. That's a really good run of fixtures. I wouldn't trust Southampton personally, but if you wanted to jump on, say, Lundic Farm or Petrescu, they're both potential options. I've heard
BT's not getting the game time up top, is he? They've gone Davis.
Davis with 3 goals in 5 starts. Pahars with 2 and 8, but he looks nailed. Tessam got 2 goals in the last game. One person owns him and got his 2 goals. I don't know who that was. Techie says, are there still questions around Rob Lee? Do you know what? I've got a feeling we've missed out Rob Lee. We have. Rob Lee got his big move to Bolton, where he'd always wanted to be, I suspect. 140 grand, that's a bargain for Rob Lee. Till the end of the season contract.
Is this when he moved to Derby in real life? Around about that time?
Yeah, it must be. I love Robbie. He's such a good player.
Yeah, I like him.
So he will be an option at Bolton. I'm not sure on what his price is. If anyone's got his price down, that would be handy. But yeah, Robley will come in. Could affect Kevin Nolan playing time there. He would definitely affect Per Francis playing time. Right. Why is Tessman happy? Probably he's not playing very much, I suspect. Would like to negotiate a new contract.
Yeah, he scored 2 goals and thought, I'll go to the manager's office and get myself some cash. Yeah.
Svensson or Draper or Gavin Ray, I would say all better options than Tessman in my opinion. Adam Francis said Robbie could go right wing back, which is, makes sense. Sorensen now fully fit back. Julio Arca is still out for another 10 days. Sunderland have obviously been very disappointing in general. Not a lot to report. We'll have a look at their condition.
I mean, if we're talking about differentials, because I think Sunderland got some decent enough fixtures. I think Kevin Phillips, I think he's like 1% owned.
Yeah, I mean, he's expensive though.
He is expensive, and it depends who you're going to lose to get Kevin Phillips in.
Yeah. I think if I was going to Sunderland, I'd look at Tome, Teal, or Lasland for me. Just at their price points, they sort of fit a bit better personally. But
I know people weren't happy with Henri again this week, and people have kind of raised transferring him out. Could they go Henri to Phillips as a differential if they want to play catch up?
I think that's a good move. I mean, if you want to go, how about this? If you want to go differential, Henri to Lasland or Sturridge, and then go a cheapy midfielder up to Veron, because no one will own Veron.
Yeah, good shout.
That is a nice little different move. Arca's still injured. Tottenham. So Tottenham quickly, they're 2 weeks out for Dean Richards still. Ben Thatcher still has 2 weeks out. Is it the last game that Ben Thatcher got injured? Yeah, Matthew Etherington came in, but he has been loaned out to Nottingham Forest. So he won't be getting added because that's a season-long loan. So Etherington is out on loan.
Who's left wing back now?
Left wing back, who knows? Maybe could they put in Leonardson in there? Could they put Willem Corsten at 90%?
Horrible.
Johnny Jackson still at Spurs. Colchester legend, from what I understand. I don't know. Maybe they'll go for. I mean, they've sold Stephen Carr as well. I mean, they have got very little options. Darren Anderton's been playing on the wing. So
how long has Ziga got left?
Ziga, he'll play.
Okay, Ziga.
Yeah, he'll play at 90%.
So that's a Ziga injury waiting to happen, then, isn't it? Second half.
Yeah, exactly. Keller and Sullivan both fit and ready to go. I think that'll be interesting to see who plays. That's a toss of a coin, I reckon. Mm-hmm. What do you reckon?
I think they'll go back to Keller, but I'd like to see Sullivan, obviously.
I think they'll go back to Keller also. So West Ham United, Shaka Hislop attracting the interest of the Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa. So he'll probably be off, but he's now fully out of the team. Steve Potts has joined. Oh no, he was already there. He's coming back. Steve Potts is coming back.
Horrendous.
Not much to report here. We'll look at condition in a second. Finds it hard to adjust the English lifestyle, Courtois. So West Ham in real trouble. Glenn Roeder in real trouble. TT Camera still only 84%, even he's had a whole international break to recover. He was a large man in real life, I remember, and I wonder if he's got poor natural fitness in the game. But really, to be honest, West Ham, you're looking at probably Repka, Canute, Di Canio, they're all at 100%. So, yeah, Tom Phillips is doing well at 4.0, but I think it is only a matter of time for David James returning to fitness in a few days. I would suspect he would either come in for this game or by Blackburn at the latest. I'd be shocked if Tom Phillips played that Blackburn game.
Was James 4.5?
I'm not sure. I've got a feeling he might be 5. If he's 5, you're probably not going to touch him, I would suggest. Although they do get a lot of save points. West Ham can get a lot of save points. When is James back? Very soon. So
we also had some other news as well. It's been dragged on for a long time, but Mark Kerr news.
Oh yeah, Mark Kerr. Sad news for all of us. But Mark Kerr has joined Hibs. He did have Premier League offers. It was Fulham and I believe Leicester. Certainly Fulham. But he opted to join Hibs. So they're playing European football. and they face Leeds this midweek. So we will see Mark Kerr, but sadly not in a Premier League shirt for this season at least. Just checking whether there's any other moves that we've missed out quickly. Nah, no other moves we've missed out there. So that's what we have. Should we do a quick shout out for any questions? If you've got any questions in the chat, quickly chuck them in there. I was just going to put out, so again, this is just how I play my FPL, but I like to be as different as possible because I think that's how you start to make progress at the table.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, and so I think looking at the sort of the template that's emerged, it's performed terribly over the last couple of weeks. That's not to say it'll continue to do that, obviously, but obviously people like Van Nistelrooy, Ian Hart, others, Shearer, they've really struggled. And it's not to say they're bad picks, but I do think it's an interesting time to shake up your team with quite a strong template underperforming. I think now could be a great time. I haven't put anything together just because I haven't had time, but
I mean, for me personally, I think you've got to look at the fixtures, and I think Sunderland and Leicester stand out fixtures next 4 or 5 games. I think as a pick, I'm going to pick Kevin Phillips. I think 9.5 million.
Yeah,
he can perform really, really well in this game. And I think he's just finding a bit of form now with a goal and assist.
Yeah,
good fixtures coming up. I think you can go. Off the premium to Phillips and invest that money elsewhere.
Yeah. I feel like there's definite possibilities. Do you know what I might even do for a bit of fun tonight? I'm going to put together a differential team with low ownership. I'm going to tweet it on my personal account and see what, maybe all under 5% ownership or something, and just see what I can put together. But I just wanted to put that out there to say I know that no one's been knocking the price or slagging off saying players are too high, but people will feel like they're being forced towards a template because players like Scowcroft at 8 million and others feel expensive. But obviously they're priced that way because they're good. So
yeah, I mean, would you ever come off Van Nistelrooy? He's so highly owned, and even if you're not captaining him, is it worth keeping hold of him? Could you go Van Nistelrooy to someone like Phillips, try and attack it that way, and then maybe go double Man U defence?
I think double Man U defence is a great differential move. Saw this weekend Blanc and Silvestre obviously both scored as well, which is a bit of a freak, but clean sheet for Man United. Van Nistelrooy is one that I personally wouldn't jump off because I think he hasn't been scoring. You would expect him to score, and he's been getting bonus points. So for me, Van Nistelrooy, but I wouldn't necessarily captain him every game. I'd be looking at players with a strong home fixture for the captain's armband, not necessarily Van Nistelrooy permacap. I think when they're at home by all means, but I really think that this is a great time to pick out some differentials. So I'd encourage you, if you're a bit brave, or if you've still got your wild card and you want to potentially climb. I mean, you could climb, you could crash. It's a risky move, but that's how you make progress. That's how you get good finishes. So I would encourage you to think about it. Like I say, I'll put something together once I've done the injury status. So probably I'll get that out there like maybe 11:15. But
that's right. Yeah, cool.
So a few questions dropping into the chat. I can see we'll wrap up once we've answered those. If you're here just for the information, you've got all the information you're going to get. But we'll do a few quick questions, shall we?
Yeah, that's good.
I'll read from the top down, mate. You read from...
yeah, that's cool.
I'm looking at Benito Carbone here because Rory Beaumont has asked about him. So I'm the Brighton manager. I'm not going to buy him, obviously, but he is on my shortlist, so I can keep an eye on him. But no news on Benito Carbone. 9 assists.
I mean, Carbone often goes to Sunderland. They bought Gary Teal in, so
that's true.
That's somewhere we normally, and they were interested, weren't they, in Carbone early on?
Yeah, they were. I've seen him go to Arsenal as well, interestingly. But just this is the Championship table, just out of interest, or Division 1. Andy North saying shout out to me. Thanks, Andy North. I'm going to be on the Wolf Pod. So yeah, I'm going to be on the Wolf Pod a week tomorrow. So shout out to the Wolf Pod guys.
Oi oi, Wolfpack.
Oi oi. And I'm also going to be talking to Andy Let's Talk FPL with Jamie tomorrow. So that'll be a video that Andy Let's Talk FPL will be putting up tomorrow. Also shout out to everyone else who's making great podcasts. Dougal, Planet FPL doing obviously fantastic streams, but they also feature us on their Monday stream. And Luke Disable's doing stuff with Andy, and there's also his own stuff. There's loads of great stuff out there to listen to, so get your ears into that stuff. Any questions, Andy, before we wrap up?
I just think not many questions here. So have a quick look. Clean sheet wipeout saying tempted by Kill captain this week. I can understand that.
Yeah,
good fixture. Kill's decent pick. Yeah. I think he's good price as well.
I agree. Yeah.
Personally. Patrick Lawson saying he might bring in Sturridge and captain him, which you said earlier.
Yeah, so. I think it's a good move. I like that. Yeah, really good. Henri is pickling my head, says Ryan Foley. That's a very polite way of putting it. He's really pickling my head. Very British. How long do I give him? So, I would. Who have Arsenal got this game week? What would you say, Andy?
I like Kevin Phillips, and if you can get to Kevin Phillips by selling Henri, I don't mind it because of the fixtures are good, and I think Phillips will bang in the next 4 weeks.
So I would give him. They've got Charlton away. I would give him Charlton away. Man United play Spurs away, so Spurs can concede. But I would personally give him the Charlton game, and then if you don't have him, I'd move to Ruud van Nistelrooy for Aston Villa, while Arsenal play Leeds. But Henri can really bang. He can be the top scorer. He can be great. So. He's not living up to that at the moment, though, but he's a differential.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the Wolfpack guys. I know Bricky and others have set up in the Wolfpack, done the Worthington Cup for us.
Yeah.
So 64 teams or 64 managers doing that. The draw in the next couple of days, so I'll be looking forward to doing that. I'm ball number 10 in the draw. What was your number? Did you see, I think you were 63 or 64.
I think I'm 63. I might be 64. I don't know. I'm one of those.
Yeah.
I'm basically a buy. If you get me, you're through. So. Who knows?
I'm not going to say I'm a buy after this week.
No, you're going to win it. You're going to go all the way.
I'm a hot streak.
Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say, is there? Having a quick look out for any more questions. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, isn't it? Oh, Man United
referee stats, just quickly.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly look up. Someone's asked about a couple of Shakhtar players. I will quickly look those up. This is just general ChampMan trivia.
Yeah, Brad Lewin is saying is Gary Teal a good option, and I think he is for these fixtures.
Yeah, I agree.
6.5, nailed at the right wing.
Shakhtar Dyer is still there. Agahawa is still there. Nothing happening with those guys. So, yeah. I feel like that's probably about it, right? People ask about heart replacements. I mean, I would be looking at Festa. If you've only got 5 million or under, I would go for Festa.
Heart replacement. I would say Titus Bramble.
Really?
No, he's done all right. They're just doing okay. They're keeping enough clean sheets.
Yeah, interesting.
Just have a look at referee stats.
Referee stats. So, what were you interested in here, mate?
Just who's the worst? Is it Uriani still, really?
So, obviously it depends on the number of games. Dermot Gallagher's nailing it with 8. But yeah, red cards wise, Roger Fernandez is smashing the red cards. He's been given a lot of penalties as well, I've noticed. So
Uriah Rennie's got 3 reds in 3 games.
3 reds in 3 games. Good going by Uriah Rennie. He's doing well.
Yeah, that's good. Usual standard. That's
also, shout out to Paul Alcock for refereeing 16 games already, despite the fact that each team's only played 8. He's doing 2 every weekend. So well done, Paul Alcock. All right, should we finish off on that Alcock note?
Yeah, let's Alcock and good night.
Let's Alcock out of here. All right, guys. Good luck to you for this week's game week on Wednesday, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Cheers for tuning in, guys. We'll try and keep as much information on the Twitter feed as we can.
Yeah.
Obviously, it gets busy. After midweek games, we've got, again, European games coming up again, so keep an eye on that Twitter feed and notifications on.
All right. Cheers, guys. Have a good night. Have a good week.
Guys.
Stay safe. Bye.
There you go. Bye.